I handled a lot of deck boxes in the past year or so, and I figure that puts me into some kind of rarefied air when it comes to judging deck boxes. Am I the LeBron James of deck boxes? That's not for me to say, but I will say it, and I am. And that makes me uniquely qualified to highlight some of the best deck boxes from 2025. And because they're so exceptional, it feels like we should do something special for the occasion, like, I know, it's time to dust off the long dormant mascot for this channel, Cardinal von Boardberg Boxington. Now, this rendering was done many years ago, so we may need to update it a bit for modern times. The rise of universes beyond, the growing tumult in the world, and the general sense of helplessness that people feel today. Hey Nano Banana, can you update this cartoon cardboard box so that it appears to be more in line with world events from 2025, mixed with the potential and hope of a new year in 2026? Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Now what's up? My boy got that thing on him. You done fucked up now, son. Now with the mood properly set, let's start with the 2025 boxies, all of which have affiliate links in the description, or you can use these handy QR codes to go to them directly on your phone. And without further ado, let's start with Funnest Deck Box. I maintain that a secure and protective deck box is not the only type of deck box that should exist. This is a game after all, and there is no need for everything around the game to always be so bland. Luckily, people are making fun things, and the funnest deck box I used in 2025 is the Quick Draw from Just Fray Things, which is fun, but also does a pretty good job of being protective and secure. Now, I did a full review of this earlier in the year, and this thing has not been out of my gaming bag for longer than a day or so, and only when I'm swapping another deck into it to take to gaming day. For those who don't want to rewatch the entire video, how dare you? I worked really hard on that. But also, this is a deck box that just maxes out about just over 100 single sleeve cards with a card window that can either hold a sleeved card or the side of a pre-constructed deck box that comes with the precons, though with Wizards' latest cost-cutting effort, who knows how long they're going to keep those boxes in the precons. We'll be lucky if the precons don't just come in Ziploc bags and you'll have to provide your own basic lands in terramorphic expanses. The Quick Draw is a low-profile deck box, meaning that it can lay more or less flat, which allows for more flexibility in bag and storage use. My personal take is that this mimics the form of a chunky paperback that is a terrific hand feel and heft. Now, this is a 3D printed deck box from Etsy, so there will be slight imperfections, but aside from me, who among us is perfect? I will say that over time I have started to use the box without the life counter attachment, which leaves this kind of open trench on the back, which really hasn't affected anything except making the box even more low profile. But I do foresee a day when something gets caught in there and then shenanigans ensue. Oh, and since I didn't explicitly reiterate, what makes this so much fun is that this has a button which spring loads the lid off. I've reviewed deck boxes with magnets and natural locks and those kind of little plastic nubs, but nothing with springs, and that may be the next step in designer deck boxes because that shit is cool. And what would have been really fun if I wasn't such a goddamn loser is to have picked cooler colors for the Quick Draw. But no, I had to be super stoic and minimalist. But looking through some of the reviews on Etsy, I clearly have no imagination, and some of these color combos paired with particular commanders or particular art, it's just awesome. God damn it, I'm gonna have to buy another one of these in different colors. Ugh. I am a pervert for these low profile deck boxes. All right, let's just get this one done. Move on to the next category before I go broke. Best purpose built deck box. Now, when I say purpose built deck box, I mean a deck box that has a very specific function, and that could be as simple as room for double sleeve cards or being built to fall apart after a year. It should be no surprise that I love my Mr. House deck. It was one of my first original, very well-performing videos on this channel, so I've always had a soft spot for it, as well as the character in the video game, and I'm always on the lookout for a new deck box that can facilitate him, and usually that means a dice tower. And none of them hit as hard as Gear XYZ's Monolith modular deck box. I've seen other deck boxes have a dice tower, but none integrated quite like this, where it's onto the side. And this is another 3D printed deck box from Etsy, and it's actually part of a much larger modular system that I did a full review on earlier this year. Now, I don't use everything that comes in the Monolith kit. I don't use the life counter. I don't use the command zone. Those are just totally functional, but they're not for me. And I prefer trying to get as much as I can into a compact package. And for those who didn't watch the review, the Monolith is part of a modular set, meaning you can use the grooves on the side of this box to add stuff onto the box, as well as to the bottom of the box and shit, probably even the top of the box. And the main box can hold enough for a double sleeve commander deck with some tokens on the side. There is also a tray that attaches to the bottom for your dice and counters, and they can all slide onto this tower, which will secure the box overall with this overlapping wing, but will also function as a dice tower that feeds directly into that tray that was supposed to hold dice or counters or whatever. It's just a joy to use, but obviously only for a limited set of decks. If you're going to spend on this, you want to be rolling a lot of dice, or this just becomes kind of a fidgety thing to do during a game, which in and of itself isn't the worst thing, as I do love me some fidgeting. Best not a deck box. Now, technically I got this in early 2026, but laws don't really mean anything anymore, and so far I am in love with it. And that is this Whispering One playmat from Alfie's Creations. Ta-da! The art is a take on Shieldred. The mat is stitched along the edges, and it has this gold foiling along several key parts of the art. Pretty standard playmat, right? However, it also has this legendary crown on top of it, which kind of mimics the border of legendary cards, and it's just really cool and unique to have a playmat that actually is different than every other playmat on the market today. Now, because of that crown, the mat is a bit taller than the normal playmat, about 30 millimeters or about 1.2 inches. That means some of your playmat tubes may not be large enough to carry this mat. Just measure your stuff before you buy and you should end up okay. The best deck box. For me, the best deck box, the one I would recommend to anyone in a vacuum of someone just saying, hey, I need a deck box, is the Ultimate Guard Boulder. For as much as I love innovation and how we carry our gaming pieces, for as much as I love my fidgety things and my low profiles, there are just as few things as reliable as a goddamn no-frills box. This thing is kind of the antithesis of what I love. It's plain, it's not fidgety, there's nothing hidden and no extra functionality. Obviously, Ultimate Guard has other deck boxes that hold more or have dice trays or whatever, but those are not the best deck box. The Boulder is, and there's almost nothing special about the Boulder. But what the Boulder is my blanket initial recommendation for anyone who might ask, what deck box should I get? It is solid, it's sturdy, it doesn't take up too much space, it holds like 100, actually probably like 115 single sleeve cards, which is more than enough for most decks. They are generally universal, meaning if you buy one, you can actually mix and match the tops and bottoms, of course, assuming you buy the same size of Boulder. And maybe most importantly, they're available. Most LGSs will have some supply of Boulders, which means you can just get one pretty much whenever you want. And while I'm not appreciative of how boring they are, I am appreciative that they do offer multiple colors, materials, designs, so even if you start with a basic box, you will have options on customizing your box to better suit your individual flavors. My favorite deck box. I'm a champion of the low-profile deck boxes, and nothing this year has swayed my perception of them. They look better on shelves, they fit into more bags, and feel better when you hold them. So my favorite deck box of the year is the Flatpack 100, which is the smallest low-profile deck box I've gotten my hands on yet. For those who don't know, these Flatpacks will all follow a general design of a sliding lid with magnets at the end to ensure the closure. This is the slimmest one, holding nearly exactly 100 single sleeve cards, and a lot of ways it's kind of the Boulder for low profile deck boxes. No frills, just 100 single sleeve cards and a lid. Well, it does have this groove for a top loader, which holds your commander, which is probably my only point of contention at this point. I just don't know that I like the top loaders on the exterior of boxes anymore. I get that you want some indication of what's inside, so I don't know. At the moment, it is what it is, and there it is. Now, what makes this my favorite deck box of 2025 is because of that small size. It really starts to open the mind up to what could be capable in the low profile space. Once you have kind of the smallest unit, you can then start figuring out ways to customize them and tailor them to very specific needs. And once you have that figured out, then you can start seeing some really weird shit. If you enjoyed this video, might I suggest subscribing to the channel? Feel free to also throw a like on the video if you enjoyed it, and check out all the cool products shown in today's video in the description. You can also check out further in-depth reviews on a lot of these on the playlist here. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you around.